Yo, Vue Storefront community. Let's dive deep into developer experience and in particular Nuxt free. My name is Jakub and I am a senior full stack developer at Vue Storefront, and I'm also an ambassador in both Nuxt.js community in Storyblok and recently also Adyen payments. What is developer experience? Developer experience in basic words is just how developers are using your product, how efficient, how easy it is for them to use the product, how easy it is for them to customize the product. So basically it describes the experience the developers have while using or working on your product. So we can see it as a mix of both the user experience, because developers are also users of your software or your product, and the development principles, and they both combined make it that developer experience. And development experience can be achieved by many different factors. The easiness of using it, of learning the product, of using it, of customizing it, of how we can extend it, like adding more functionalities to the core concept or the core functionality. And there are actually many things you can do to improve the developer experience of your product. There is a very good article which is not as new because it's 2017. However, it summarizes very well what your product has to be or has to have in order to be perceived as a product that has very good developer experience. So from things like releasing changelogs, migration guides, documentation, videos, and so on. If you're looking for a very detailed explanation on what you need in order to have a great developer experience product, you can go there and you will have a lot of answers to the questions. So how does Nuxt free improve the developer experience? Let's start with Vite. Vite is a front-end build tool that is not necessarily glued to Vue.js ecosystem. You can use it in many different factors, in many different frameworks like React, like Svelte. So it's more like a build tool that improves the developer experience by providing very fast load times of your application. So Vite consists of two main factors or main functionalities. One, which is boosting your developer experience while developing software in a development environment, and it is a dev server that serves your source files over native ES modules and also provides a hot module replacement, which is really fast. And the second one, which is a build command that bundles your code using rollup into a pre-configured that is pre-configured to output very highly optimized static assets for production. So just to show you a quick example, this is basically what is the developer experience while using Vite. We can see that the reloading of the server takes milliseconds instead of 15 seconds, for example, for the project to reload. And what's funny here, this is a recommendation that I got from Scott Spence. You can check him out in Twitter at Scott Spence. He proposed to me that considering how fast Vite is reloading your server, you can also set a configuration in your development IDE to auto save your files after a certain amount of time. So let's say that you will set this timeout of automatic saving files for about half a second or 0.3 seconds. What it will happen is that you will have almost instant changes on your website because you will have very fast autosave and also very fast server reload, which will cause your changes in the browser almost instant. Next one is full TypeScript support. And what it's really interesting about it is that it supports TypeScript in pages, in components, in composables, so certain files. We will have auto-completion, we will have some suggestions of what properties or what methods we can use from certain libraries or composables components, and also in the Nuxt config.ts file. So after creating a very simple Nuxt free project, we already have a TypeScript support in all places we need. So in components, in our Vue.js files, in our composables, in middleware, and so on, and also in the most important nuxt.config file. In terms of components, Nuxt automatically imports any components here in our components directory. So whenever we create a new header component inside components directory, it will be automatically imported into our project so that we can use it everywhere in the application. And that's not something new. It was already introduced in the Nuxt 2. However, right now, this automatic import also supports Vue Free and also supports functionalities like script setup, so that we can define components, pages using script setup, and they will all be automatically imported to our application. But auto-importing components can lead to issues, because we can import a component that is used in certain place of our application. We can import them or import it in all places, which might not be something that we want. But Nuxt core team already figured that out and proposed lazy loading. So lazy loading as a concept allows to dynamically import certain code, in our case certain component, after it is actually needed. So what will happen here in this example is that the code needed to render the footer component will be fetched when it will be actually needed. So when user scrolls down to the page, to the end of the page. And how we achieve that? The only thing we need to do is to add lazy prefix before the name of the component. So if we have created the footer component, the only thing we need to make it lazy loaded, then dynamically imported, is to add the lazy prefix before the name of the component, which is really nice. Nuxt 3 also uses the concept of composables, and the composables are those functions that allow you to reuse functionality across the app by using state that is preserved on the server side by using the use state composable, and also very useful but built-in composables like use cookie, use request headers, use Nuxt app, which previously we were accessing Nuxt app by calling this.context, and in Nuxt 3 we have access to it by using use Nuxt app. And we have been using the concept of composables in Vue Storefront for a while. So if you have tried Vue Storefront before, you for sure know things like use product, use category, use search, and it worked in a very similar way. So we had this certain functionality that allowed us to perceive the state of a product, of a category over our application. In terms of modules, modules are those functions that allow us to extend the core functionality of Nuxt. So we have the core concept of Nuxt, and let's say that we want to have an integration with a certain third-party library or a certain functionality like PWA, support for internationalization, IATN, easier to pronounce. So In Nuxt 2, there was this template module repository in GitHub that you could use to create your own modules, your new modules. However, for Nuxt 3, what Nuxt core team decided to do is to create a new module template called Module Builder that allows you to very easily create new Nuxt modules with things like out-of-the-box TypeScript support, out-of-the-box build support with unbuild. And in this example, we can see that the define Nuxt module method accepts one object parameter with things like meta, where we can define the name of our module, and the config key. The config key is used in the nuxt-config.ts file. So let's say that we have the module that is called myAwesome module. So by defining a config key myAwesome module in nuxt-config.ts, when we define an object called myAwesome module, we can define the settings or the configuration for our module. Apart from meta, we can also define a default options, default configuration. So what happens when a user doesn't provide us any configuration? And finally, the most important step is the setup function that allows us to add plugins, add middleware, add composables, add new components, so that we can wrap all this logic into this module. And you can check it out using the following link. Nuxt offers many modules. However, not all of them are Nuxt 3 ready. For now, for like today, we have 18 modules working for Nuxt 3 that you can very easily check out using the modules.nuxt.js.org website that lists all these modules that are available for you. In terms of official modules like PWA, image, auth that are provided by Nuxt, the support is planned for the next few weeks to be released. However, it's not that easy because these modules provide very useful functionality, but it also makes it quite difficult to migrate to the newer version. But for sure, it's planned for the next weeks. Apart from the official modules, you can also choose community modules that are created by Nuxt.js community members. And I will propose you to choose Nuxt.js algolia, which is the module that I have created for Nuxt community, which allows for very easy integration with algolia search, that allows for very fast search, and also support for Vue instance search. So by importing just this Nuxt.js algolia module, you have access to the algolia API, so you can search very quickly and get the results. And you also have the access to the components. So by importing module, you have the components, you have the data from the search, nothing else is needed. Server endpoints. So server endpoints allows us to add backend logic to our Nuxt application. So it works quite similar to the server middleware that we used to use in Nuxt 2. However, in this case, what will happen is whenever you create a file inside this /server/API folder in your root directory, it will automatically create the endpoints out of it. So let's say that we create a file called test.ts in this directory. Whenever we access /localhost/server/API, or just the API/test, what will happen is that we will have the new endpoint created. So inside of it, we can add the logic for database management, or adding new records, or maybe providing some additional functionalities for our e-commerce, or maybe handling some payments. Everything that is related to the backend or the server side of our Nuxt application can be added here. And there is a very good introduction into Nuxt Free Server API by Anthony Fu. I definitely recommend you to check it out. It's only 1 minute and it shows really well how you can utilize the server endpoints to match your needs. So we have explained or discussed several Nuxt free features, but there are many more of them. I just picked the one or selected the ones that I thought are very useful for the developer experience. If you are interested in more and seeing how they work out of the box with a demo, there is a good video by Tim Penix that he introduces some Nuxt free features like layouts and explains each of them with a certain demo or data fetching, layouts, components, and so on and so on. So what about the state of Nuxt Free? Because we already explained quite a few features, quite a few functionalities that improve the developer experience. So Nuxt Free is still in beta. However, the release candidate is planned for March, like this March, next month, in a few days, let's say. So we are all waiting for it. The Nuxt core team is doing their best to deliver the Nuxt Free release candidate as fast as possible, but it takes a lot of work. So, however, we can help them because we all can make Nuxt Free the best framework ever. How? First, we can join Nuxt Discord server, and not only join, but we can help, because in Nuxt Discord there are many channels that you can help by giving some answers to some certain questions or providing help to certain modules, to migrate them to Nuxt Free, to build new modules. So if you are interested in helping Nuxt team deliver the best possible framework, Nuxt Discord is definitely the place to go. There are already few RFCs, requests for comments, in Nuxt that you can participate in and give your opinion, because there are many people who have different opinions, different experiences in terms of building software. So the more the discussions, the better the solution, the better the result. So you can participate in them, give your opinion, share your thoughts, and even propose some features as well. You can also share Nuxt free content, like writing an article, or recording a video about something, or giving a talk, such as this one. You can also build modules, because as I mentioned, I have created one. There are many people in the Nuxt community that also created modules, Nuxt 3 or Nuxt 2 modules. So considering how simple it is right now to build new modules using the module builder, it's very simple and gives a lot of joy when you have something that works and provides a good value to the developer and the final user. Make sure to give a star to Nuxt, Nuxt 2, Nuxt 3 and the modules as well. And also Vue Storefront, because Vue Storefront also uses Nuxt under the hood and utilizes many features that we discussed today. So make sure to give them a star. And that will be it. Thanks very much for your attention. If you have any questions, features, or you would like to improve something in what I explained, in what I discussed, you can contact me using the Twitter @theandrewski, and you can also find me in the Nuxt Discord channel, in the Vue Storefront Discord channel, and many more. Thanks, have a good day, and see you!